What's cracking, people? It's your man Cousin T, aka the Alpha Wingman, representing high-level technicians operating globally and beyond. So listen, today is the day that I am presenting the final installment in the three-part series covering how women weave worlds. And let's be clear, this is all about technique, okay? And my neck of the woods, or this space known as the select manosphere, we focus on equipping men with the tools, the skill sets, the know-how, and the experience in order to navigate the modern landscape of man gets woman. That's our mission in a nutshell. Or at least on this side. Obviously on the Patreon side, we get way further in depth into the psychology behind all of this. And so without further ado, let me go into a quick recap of the first two installments of this series, because we have a lot to unpack in this particular installment. So in the first video, I broke down how social media influencer Brittany Renner was able to use various techniques that she has used in similar scenarios to convince DJ Academic to be on her team, so to speak. The second presentation in this series covered how the interview that the same IG influencer did with Kevin Samuels unfolded in a dramatically different way, because Kevin has the experience of a statesman who understands the need to construct the dynamic of a conversation. And so Brittany did not have the opportunity to use the techniques and devices that she would use in other interviews that were able to sway men. Now, there was one point in the interview that she was able to work a bit of that charm and that magic, and I'm telling you, she was certainly able to make an impression, a noticeable impression on Kevin, but he quickly recovered and continued to steer the conversation in a direction that answered three important questions. Well, I'll say addressed. I don't think that they were completely answered, but they were addressed. First question is, who are you? Second question is, what do you stand for? And the third question is, what do you want at the end of the day? And like I said, gentlemen, those are probably three of the most important questions to bring across over the course of a conversation with anyone, let alone someone that you're trying to discover compatibility with, someone that you're trying to seek out the essence of what they bring to your situation. But while putting together various scenes for this presentation, something else happened. There was another podcast released that, I don't know if it was unprecedented, but it was definitely calculated and orchestrated by DJ Academic. This particular conversation that took place between the Fresh and Fit podcast and Brittany Renner, moderated by DJ Academic, happened. And of course, I watched the whole thing. I'll only do a separate review if enough people request it, but I wanted to take this little clip just to give you an example of exactly what I'm talking about asking the three most important questions that make people think about how to answer you. Starting with this.
What kind of girl am I?
You're not special. You're like other girls. That's the key.
I'm not special.
You're like other women that are
So what makes you special then?
Again, I won't get into breaking down the entire interview or discussion, but I will say this. Her initial question brought him directly into her world. She brought him into her space, and no matter what his response would have been, she already had a direct sequence of choice words at her disposal, to address whatever that response would have been for him. Unfortunately, he gave a response that elicited an initial negative reaction from her, but check out the way that she framed her ultimate comeback to him referring to her as not being special.
There's really a lot to unpack here, because my first question to you is, what do you gain from telling girls that they're not special? How does that make you feel? I mean, I know everything is a joke, but I'm asking you a real question. So how does it make you feel? Because if I say you're a bitch ass nigga, that does something for me, right? If I insult you, or if I tell you you're not special, you're forgettable, what does that do for me? No, but that doesn't. But that's what I'm saying. No, but I'm saying, what if I call you? If I just say that again, you're forgettable. That's why I didn't want to do guys' podcast. Forgettable. Hate the setup. The name is underwhelming. I didn't really see the value in it. For me, that's okay if it wasn't a fit for me, but I also don't need to, in a way, kind of try to devalue what you guys have going on, because at the end of the day, I may not agree with anything you guys talk about, because honestly, I feel like when you've seen 2 or 3 videos, you've seen them all. But the reality is that I went to your guys' page and I went to the different links and the different services and the courses that you guys offer. And I do see that there's a place for that. So even though it may not have been in alignment with what I am about, I can still give credit where it's due without trying to devalue you guys, because you guys are doing something special, right? Because you guys are, I mean, are there a lot of other people doing what you do? You could consider your guys' podcast special, right?
Who are you? What do you stand for? What do you want at the end of the day? Gentlemen, this was a classic case of how verbally adept women are. Now, don't get me wrong, she is sharper than the average woman, and over the course of the conversation, she met the Fashion Fit podcast on a more level playing field. She played ball, played nice for the sake of the podcast. Let's be clear. As soon as the word special or not special was put out there, she took that and went 106 in Park Freestyle Friday with it, okay? She went all the way into a full circle around how she was able to set up whether or not she wanted to be negative or positive with how she responded to just that one statement. It was like, have you seen that one video that goes around? It's going around where the gorilla, casually strolls up and pulls one of the trackers out of the brush and just drags him and then leaves him right there in the middle for the camera to see. Saying, if I wanted to, snap you in 2, I could easily do that, but I ain't today. Y'all are lucky. It was like that almost for just that brief moment in the exchange. And that is the basis for today's subject. Today we are going to go over a particular clip that was presented by the lead attorney. He was having a conversation with attorney Suzette Speaks. And shout out to the both of them for being open and honest with their dialogues that they've been having in public. But I want to play for you this clip. And this is really at the heart of this conversation. The question is really, why do women believe that they are superior to men? And that's a very bold and broad sort of statement or question right there in and of itself. Okay, but I'm going to play this clip, and on the other side of it, I will come back with my response. Here we go.
I know, and I try to put, I take, pains with putting that hat down when I'm in a relationship. I'm not here to be your attorney. I'm not here.
Yeah, but let me just push back a little bit.
Sure.
If you've been in relationships before, right? You've had boyfriends in the past, and I would imagine that in some of those relationships, you guys have had some arguments, some disagreements, some arguments. Let's just call them what they are, right?
Yes.
But you are an attorney, right? So you're trained in the arts of arguing. You've argued with other attorneys. You've argued with judges. You've argued in front of juries. Is that right?
I have not done jury trials as of a while ago, but yes.
Okay.
I do civil litigation mostly.
Okay, but you're skilled in arguing. Are you saying that when you get home, you take off your attorney hat and now you are thinking and processing like a person who has just never been to law school day one?
That's not what I'm saying. No, What I'm saying is I'm picking and choosing what to reveal, ask, do in a way so that I don't harm that person or relationship as much as I know my skill will allow me to.
Okay, so you're saying, listen, I got the power, I just have it under control. So just because I'm an attorney.
Exactly. I choose to show deference. I can manhandle you if I want, but I'm not going to do that. if you're my man.
Okay, listen.
I'm not saying that.
Listen to what she's saying. She's like, listen, I got the power, guys. I just don't use it on you. All right. I understand where you're at.
No, not the power, but in how I argue, I could do that. I find that it doesn't
that's power. Wait.
Well.
That's power, right? You have the power to really.
I wouldn't characterize it like that, Lee.
Is it false?
I'm not saying it's false. I said I would not characterize it like that.
What's wrong with the word power?
I don't think of it as power.
You don't think it's power to know how to argue? You don't think that's a power?
I think I have an ability to. I don't think of it like that. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I don't think of it like that.
All right. So what you're saying, all right, it seems a little bit semantic.
Okay, so I had to make sure that I got that last part in because Lead said, oh, it seems semantic-y. No. That's not semantics. That's a strategy. The greatest superpower is invisibility. And one of the greatest sort of advantages that women exercise is the overall social presumption of their physical fragility compared to a man. So in the eye of the court of public opinion, most women leverage the default that, oh, she's just, a small, dainty little woman. When the police were called out for a domestic situation, you better subdue that big, bad man first. Okay, surely she didn't have anything to do with anything. Or in the case of the lead attorney and, divorce law, surely the mother is the better option. Surely she should be awarded child support. I mean, people in this space already know. I usually don't go down those rabbit holes, but the reason why I wanted to let that clip play in its entirety is so that you can see how when an honest woman, and this is a trained professional, a woman trained in the art of arguing, to paraphrase the lead attorney. Yes, the honest truth is that the average woman can run circles around the average man verbally, but how is she able to do that and feel that the average man will continue to go along with following her program? Well, the first part has to do with something that the lead attorney speaks about often, and that is the system. Now, the lead attorney mentions that he sees the system as being broken. I would take the position that the system is working exactly as it is set up, exactly as it has been fine-tuned and refined over a period of time. In fact, the reason why most women are able to get away with speaking to the average man in the way that they do is because everything from her words to her wound have been weaponized against the value of a man. Just take a look at the recent episode of Drake with Hot Sauce Gate. Okay, he was in a situation where his experience and his better judgment, motivated him to dispose of a used condom with hot sauce, which consequently protected him from another 18-year-long child support payment. And even though he was protecting himself, the woman still is trying to use her words in order to cash out from this situation. So because they have the ability to leverage the system against the value of a man, that's the first reason why women believe that they are superior. Modern women believe that they are superior to modern men. I want to play another brief clip that I believe crystallizes the second reason why modern women believe that they are superior to modern men. And this comes from, it's a very brief clip that comes from a DJ Vlad interview of Kevin Samuels. And in this sentence, Kevin sums up the second reason why modern women believe that they are superior to modern men.
Yes, women have their place, but the place of a man has been devalued so much to where even just trying to say that men deserve anything is almost offensive, where we feel like we got to balance it, that men have had an advantage. You mean men have had an advantage in the world that men built?
So there's number two. The second reason why most modern women believe that they are superior to most modern men is because the worth historically given to actually building things, creating structures, building out infrastructure, maintaining the very systems that support life within a developed and even advanced society has been devalued to the point of being negligible. But without further ado, gentlemen, here is the most important reason why the modern woman believes that she is superior to the modern man. It's because, in spite of all of the mechanisms of the system that are skewed towards weaponizing every aspect of a man's interaction with a woman, in spite of the devaluing of the physical, tangible, real life contributions that men make being devalued, all of the messaging, all of the media campaigns, all of the suggestions, all of the modern posts and documents and memes that regard women as superior are based on lies. And gentlemen, I have to be honest, when coming up with this part of the presentation, I could not help but be taken back to a popular quote from the movie Chernobyl, when a society builds a narrative based on lies.
Every lie you tell incurs a debt to the truth. Sooner or later, that debt is paid.
Gentlemen, let's be honest. Why is the truth so valuable? It's because it gives you the one thing that most men who are still plugged into the mainstream narrative do not have, and that is choice. Choice is the most valuable thing that you can possess, because with it, you can navigate the world on your terms. You can choose to play the game and attempt to extract as much as you can from the world as it exists, or you can choose to build your own world and play by your rules. And just quickly, gentlemen, most women know that the narrative is based on a lie. Most women already understand that most systems are stacked in their favor. They just want to see if you're willing to go along with that lie, or you're the type of man to call out lie as you see it. The type of man that is willing to blaze his own trail in order to fulfill his mission. That is the type of man that the right woman wants to follow. So, at the end of the day, who is superior? Are modern women superior to modern men? Or are modern men superior to modern women? Gentlemen, we assume that this doesn't need to be clarified, but because of our current environment, we will say this over and over and over again. Men and women are complements. Our value add, what we bring to the table under ideal circumstances, as well-adjusted, mature adults, should be complementary. Okay? So, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And as always, this is your man, Cousin T, aka the Alpha Wingman, saying, stay sharp and mission focused. Later.